Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Everything is Bad New Fangled Motion Picture Show.
That's right, everyone. You're listening to another episode of the Everything is Bad New Fangled Motion Picture Show. I'm your host, Niall.
And I'm Nolan.
And today we're going to be reviewing the latest and greatest in Marvel Cinematic Universe blockbuster masterpieces. That would be Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Indeed.
So we're going to be doing our normal thing where we do a spoiler-free review, and then we'll give you a spoiler warning, and we'll go more in-depth into the movie after that. So, without further ado... It's fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's a fun movie. It's good. So it's nice having just like just a fun story that has like there's still an emotional hook, you know.
I was surprising how emotional this movie was.
Yeah.
And not just because it's like, oh, it's the last of the Guardians movie, but they actually did some like pretty, you know.
Yeah.
Some heart-wrenching moments in the movie.
It's in the trailer. The main villain of the movie is the person who created Rocket, experimented on.
Yeah, and if you know anything about his backstory, then yeah,
you know he's a vile person. But yeah, so it's refreshing getting just like a funny, but still like emotionally enticing Marvel movie. Feels like it's been a few years.
It's been a while. This is the best. I'd say the best Marvel movie we've had in years.
I'd say this is the best Marvel movie since Endgame.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
And you know, to be fair, not a high bar.
Yeah.
Wait. No. No, because Spider-Man was after Endgame, right? Spider-Man 3.
Yes.
Did you say this was better than Spider-Man? Was it Far From Home? Wait, was it Far From Home? Because there was
No Way
Homecoming?
Home.
No Way Home. There's No Way Home, Far From Home, or Homecoming, Far From Home, No Way Home. Right?
Yeah, I think I had more fun with this movie.
Yeah, I'd say this is a better done movie because No Way Home, really depended on like nostalgia factor. Like, hey everyone, remember Tobey Maguire?
Not that
it was a bad movie.
Yeah, No Way Home
that was the biggest like pull.
Yeah,
appeal
it was.
To that movie.
That was a pretty good movie, and I'd say before this, that was definitely the best movie. Definitely the best post Endgame movie.
Yeah. But yeah, there's some character development that feels like it's, you know, paid off over the course of several movies. You know, you contrast because like we watched we just happened to watch Guardians like a couple weeks ago, the first one, and like looking at the characters how they were versus how they are now, and like seeing that like there actually has been quite a bit of character development. Probably I would argue more character development amongst the Guardians than like anyone else in the MCU.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah,
it was pretty good. I definitely enjoyed it, and
I will say this movie earns its PG-13 rating, not just because of the one F-bomb.
You probably heard about that.
People are big mad about that because they're like, the F-bomb was not necessary. My kids were with me. Well, you should have paid attention that it's a PG-13 movie.
It was everywhere I saw it everywhere that they dropped an F-bomb in this movie.
Yeah, and like, look, it's a PG-13 movie. Honestly, there is stuff in there that is way worse for your kids to be watching. There's some pretty dark stuff in this movie.
There is. There's some, like, just the visuals. Like, there's some stuff that could, like, really scare some kids. We can get into that in the spoiler section, but, like, even, like there's a few characters that, like, the visually are terrifying, but they're not even like bad guy characters.
Right, but you could look at that and understand why this would give a child some nightmares.
I mean, there's some like Saw level stuff.
Right. Yeah, and like the F-bomb was an accident that they left in because the movie was PG-13. They like the movie isn't PG-13 because of the F-bomb.
No.
Are we far enough in? Can we say the word? There's a time limit, right? Where like, or did they drop? I don't even know.
I don't even know the rules.
I don't even know what the rules are with YouTube anymore.
I don't know.
But yeah, I've been seeing people online like mad about this F-bomb, and it's like, yeah, it was all over the place. Like, I don't know how I guess if you just don't consume nerd media, you're like our parents who watch some or all of the MCU movies, but don't really pay much attention to them beyond just like going to the theater and watching fun superhero movies. I could see maybe then you wouldn't have heard about that, but still, like, look at the PG-13 rating. What is it rated PG-13 for? Does it say on IMDb?
Probably get back in the earlier part of the.
Yeah, what is it?
Parent guide. Intensive sequences of violence and action, strong language, suggestive/drug references, and thematic elements.
Oh yeah, there's straight up a drug deal in this movie.
Yeah.
So, there's that too. Yeah, like there's stuff in there that you should be way more concerned about your children seeing than hearing Chris Pratt say fuck.
Yeah. Believe me, every other country in the world is like probably making fun of us over being concerned over that.
They are. I saw some
language is so far from like an issue in the rest of the world.
Yeah, because I saw some like superhero fan page on Facebook. It's like suggested posts.
Look at this. In Egypt, it's rated 8+.
But yeah, so but yeah, this movie earns a PG-13 rating beyond just the same. I know the word's actually fucking, right? It's about ing.
Yeah, the ing is actually a lighter version, because at that point it's just profanity, right?
You're right. It's one, and yeah,
that's the way it's used.
Yeah.
See, you get the one, but it can't actually refer to the action.
Right. It can't refer to sex.
Right.
It's as long as it's just a swear word, you're allowed one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I don't know. But it's a good movie. Like, if you like sci-fi space opera type movies, it's just a fun movie. The environments are cool. It's cool like sci-fi action stuff going on, and it's got that signature Guardians of the Galaxy humor in the dialogue, and like running jokes throughout the movie and stuff. It's really funny.
Yeah.
So definitely recommend. Not that it seems to matter. The movie grossed $114 million opening weekend.
Yeah, I doubt it's gonna slow down.
Because I don't think there's anything next weekend.
My only negatives. Just because of my personal taste in music, there wasn't as much music that I'm.
Yeah,
a
the
fan
soundtrack
of.
was definitely not as iconic in this movie.
Right, and it's all like '90s music.
Yeah,
which you think would be my jam because of when I grew up. But there's not a lot of '90s music that I still listen to.
Yeah.
Like when I was growing up, yes, but then like a lot of it is just kind of faded off, and
besides,
I'm not that much big a fan anymore.
The '90s music you listen to is not going to wind up in a Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
I guess not.
There's not going to be like pop punk crap in there, and
no,
like your skater rock that you listened to in middle school and high school.
Yeah,
that's not going to be in a Guardians movie. Come on.
No, they did have there's a one Beastie Boys song in there.
Oh yeah,
which is the only song in there I was like,
yeah, No Sleep Till
that
Brooklyn.
I jammed to.
Yeah. But otherwise though, this was a good movie. Highly recommend. And I like that it's sort of a palate cleanser after. I never saw Wakanda Forever. I was just not interested in seeing it. I tried several times. I was like, sat down on my computer. I'm like, I'm gonna put on Wakanda Forever and like play 7 Days to Die or something, and I just ended up watching something else.
It's also nice that it, as far as I can tell, it's not really tied into anything else going on in the MCU. So it's
you
don't need to have like, oh, did I watch the proper movies to know everything going on in this? No, you only need to watch
the Guardians movies,
and Endgame and
Yeah.
You need to watch.
You gotta understand why Nebula's in the party and everything,
and why Gamora isn't.
Yeah. So, but yeah, like it's definitely a palate cleanser because like, was Black Widow was the first one right after Endgame, and that was just kind of a.
Remember, it was so long after Endgame that it doesn't feel. Was Spider-Man and like Black Widow kind of around the same time, or
maybe I don't remember.
I don't remember the order. Black Widow is just sort of a meh movie.
Yeah.
I think they should have given her a solo film a lot earlier.
Eternals. I mean, you can go check out a review of Eternals, but that movie is really freaking boring. It's way too long.
Yeah.
But I'm interested in the stuff that got set up in Eternals, which in theory might involve the Guardians later on. And this movie, I don't think this is really a spoiler, but post credits it comes up and it says Star-Lord will return.
Yeah, but since this is gonna be the last Guardians movie, I'm guessing a movie's titled Star-Lord.
That's not a spoiler. They've been saying that.
Yeah, they've been saying that
for a while.
They've been saying this is the last Guardians movie.
Not that this is the last time the Guardians will be in a movie.
So either he or they or all of them, any number of them, will appear in other movies and maybe solo movies, but it's not gonna be.
I mean,
Guardians.
Eternals definitely set up like a Galactus.
Yeah, more cosmic stuff going on.
Yeah, which could definitely involve any and all of the Guardians.
Yeah, and Beta Ray Bill, which I was kind of expecting him to
there's
appear
a rumor
somewhere.
they've cast someone as Beta Ray Bill, right?
Yeah, so I thought he was going to appear in this, but obviously not.
Yeah. Now that you think about it, like that would have been perfect as like a post-credit scene or something.
Yeah, they could have had the Starjammers. Is that other group?
I don't know. You know way more about that stuff than
I don't know. That like some of the Marvel like galactic stuff got like really crazy, and they still like bring them in.
I read enough of I read the arc of Guardians where they revealed Venom's origin story because I was interested in Venom's origin story. That's the only arc of Guardians I ever read.
Was that the arc? Was that still being written by Dan Abnett?
Maybe.
I don't remember.
Maybe, but
maybe not. I don't remember.
But anyway, so yeah, I mean it's Marvel. It feels like the setup has been less like like each Marvel movie sets up a little more, and they were like obviously building up to Thanos. For the first 3 waves or whatever. But this the like setup has been less clear. Oh, Ant-Man, that was another one. That was another post Endgame. See how forgettable that movie is? But like so there's been like setup in each of these movies, but it feels disjointed. Like all of the Marvel movies before, you could see them leading towards Thanos, leading towards the Infinity Gauntlet saga, the Infinity War. Right?
Yeah.
But so far it's like we've got a setup with what's his name from Loki and Ant-Man, Kang.
Yeah, Kang
the Conqueror. We're setting up a Galactus
Except
thing.
that guy might not be coming back to the MCU because of stuff going on in his life.
Dude, I heard that woman dropped it.
Okay, but apparently others have come forward and they're still sorting that out. So whether she dropped it doesn't matter if other people have come forward.
I hope it turns out to be a nothing burger because I like Jonathan Majors.
Yeah, I hope so too. But I saw someone saying like, "Here's an idea. If that all time winds up being true and he is gone, make the High Evolutionary one of his other like dimensional identities, and then recast the Chugwoody Woogie guy."
That's such a name, dude.
He's Nigerian.
Nigerian?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because he did a great job.
Yeah, he was great.
Nobody phoned anything in this movie.
Right.
Like everyone was there 100%.
Not even Sylvester Stallone.
Everyone was there 100%. It was pretty great.
Well, I think James Gunn just makes people like enthusiastic.
Yeah. That could be it.
But yeah, I could see that being the case. But anyway, so it feels like they were setting up Kang, then they were setting up Galactus, and then like rumor is that Deadpool's gonna kick off like Secret Wars, and it's like there's no like clear direction for the current MCU. It just feels way more sloppy.
It does.
Do you think it's because what's his name is over playing in the Star Wars sandbox now?
Oh, I can't think of his name now.
Favreau. You think it's because Favreau's just like left the MCU behind entirely?
Well, I mean, maybe, but I always they always gave the impression that Feige was the guy behind all that, and then Favreau, he directed all the Iron Man movies and stuff. But
are the Russo brothers still involved in Marvel?
they got this new series coming out on or whatever. We keep seeing the ad for
Oh,
with Stanley Tucci.
The spy series
Yeah, they're probably busy with that.
that has what's his name from Eternals in that?
Yes, and Game of Thrones.
Yeah, he was Rob Stark, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. Anyway, so got off track there a little bit, but
a little bit.
yeah, this feels like an older MCU movie where it's like it's fun, it's funny, but it's still like got enough of an emotional hook, but it doesn't feel like it's adding into anything. Like there's no in this one, nothing in it felt like, oh yeah, this is clearly, leading up to whatever. The post-credit scenes had nothing to do with any like bigger story.
Right, unless they're gonna continue with these other continue stories with these characters. That's all that's set up.
Yeah, but no like bigger overarching
Yeah.
thing. So I don't know. But anyway, so you got anything else to say on that?
No.
Yeah, recommend it. Go see it. So spoiler warning.
Yeah.
Or like, we'll get into that in the spoiler section. What was it?
Oh, the animals.
Oh yeah, the Hellspawn.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, dude, they looked like something out of Doom. They're like half robot, half animal monstrosities or something.
Well,
they look like demons.
So the bad guy, the high evolutionary who created Rocket,
he's trying to make the perfect
species. He's trying to make the perfect world and the perfect species and everything, but he like kind of sucks at it, I guess. And so he's doing all these experiments on animals to make like humanoid animals, and Rocket's a result of that.
Very dark series of
so you see all this through flashbacks that Rocket has, and there's an otter in there who I believe Lila, who's from the comic books.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know about the others. There's
a walrus
named Teefs and a rabbit named Floor.
And Floor is horrifying.
Horrifying. She's got these spider legs and like this like iron jaw thing, and it's
deeply unsettling to look at.
Yeah, it's like that scene in Toy Story where all like the animals come out, or not the animals, the toys come out from under Sid's bed.
Yeah,
and they're all like horrifying, but they're all like actually nice and everything. Yeah. It's like that. You see Rocket get thrown into this cage. You see these horrible like half animal, half robot hybrids, and they come out and they're just nice.
Yeah,
and friendly. But I could see a small child being scared of these things, and like I'm watching these sequences, and you see what's going on. I'm like, I mean, maybe a kid might not get everything that's going on, but I think that stuff is way worse than one fuck.
Yeah,
in the movie,
definitely,
which was there for comedic effect.
Yeah, and it was an accident, but everyone thought it was so funny that they left it in. And to be fair, it's really funny.
It is funny.
It's a really funny scene.
And then there's the other like non-nice animal robot hybrids, like one called War Pig, which looks like it's from Doom.
Yeah.
It's all like a lot of them do.
Yeah.
I was like looking at the credits here. So there's a character, judging by the order that things went in, she's probably on Nowhere, but the actress is named Sarah Lamy, and I'm guessing she's a reptile because she's Sarah Lamy.
Well, you were showing me in the theater. There's a character who's credited as Gamora shoots this guy.
Yeah.
Like James Gunn just like writes that in because like this is a little treat for the people who go and look at this shit, right?
Yeah. Gamora shoots this guy with an exclamation point.
Yep. So it's definitely, but yeah, this movie's definitely kind of dark, and I do not recommend young children see it.
Yeah.
Like, I probably wouldn't take a child younger than like 11 or 12 to see this movie, honestly.
No, I would agree with that. It's, I mean, miles may vary. Maybe your kids are more mature. But yeah,
your children are already broken.
Yeah. I've already grown up on a diet of 80s and 90s movies. But no, they get some dark moments in this movie.
Maybe they happen to catch a daytime airing of Event Horizon on Sci-Fi Channel when they were younger, when they were too young.
Yeah, if they can handle Event Horizon, they can handle this. It's not that bad. Are you saying that
As an
you might have done
example?
that?
I kind of have memories of that happening. I don't know for sure, like how old
I remember
was.
renting it and watching it late at night.
At an age you definitely shouldn't have been watching it.
I was
At an age mom and dad would not have wanted you watching it.
definitely too young to have like bought my own movie ticket if that was, do it if that's what you're asking. Anyway, so also this movie ends with the band breaking up, sorta. Quill decides to go home to Earth and see his grandfather, who he hasn't.
Doesn't look old enough to be his grandfather.
They do apply a little bit of makeup, but yeah, he should have been older.
Yeah, because he was supposed to be like 90. They said, right?
That might have just been Quill's guess on things, because he's talking about like, well, 50's old and people die at 50 on Earth or whatever. So maybe he's probably like 90 now, and
Well, but yeah,
maybe
I mean,
he's
think
like
about-
in his
so-
60s though.
So remember, he's 8 in 1980,
Later than 80. When was that?
like mid 80s or something.
He's 8 when he's taken off of Earth.
And his grandfather has to be at least like probably 50 at that
Right.
point in the 80s. We are now, because remember, the MCU is also a few years past the current like real life timeline too.
Right, so maybe he's in his 80s. He might be close
Try-
to 90.
Yeah, try 90, dude. It's been 40 years since the mid 80s started.
Well, do we know what year he was taken from Earth? Was it in the 80s?
Yeah. I
Was
thought that was stated. That
No, maybe.
That's why the Walkman is like that particular Walkman
Yeah, he
is
does
what
have
he
that
what he
Walkman.
has.
Yeah,
And those headphones that mom and dad used to have with the orange
right.
foam earpieces. Yeah, it's got to be in the 80s. So
Yeah,
his grandfather should be 90, roughly.
Yeah, okay.
And he does not look that old. He looks maybe in the 70s.
Yeah, well, I don't know how much makeup they put on the guy.
Yeah, but anyway, so he goes back to Earth to see his grandfather though. And you know what? It's also possible his grandfather disappeared in the blip and was gone for those years.
So he saved 5 years there.
Yeah. But
How old is Craig Henry here? Let's see, 1952, so
71.
71. All right. I mean, I think they did put some makeup on him to
Yeah.
age him up a little, but
But anyway, so yeah, Quill goes back to Earth to live with his grandfather because he's his only living family. Rocket and Groot stay with the Guardians along with Cosmo and Kraglin.
and some new random character that. So they in the course of the movie they rescue a whole bunch of kids that were like genetic experiments from the High Evolutionary. One of them is part of the Guardians there at the end.
Mm-hmm. Nebula and Drax stay on Nowhere to like build up the settlement.
Yeah, and help all the people they rescued. And, you know, the rest of the Guardian, that's their headquarters, so they're going to go back to Nowhere periodically and
Yeah.
everything. Like,
Gamora goes
Gamora's-
back to the Ravagers.
Gamora's, yeah, she's a Ravager. She goes back to them. So, I mean, it's not a total breakup of the group or anything. Oh, did you mention Groot was with the
Yeah, Groot's with the
Guardians?
still.
Oh, and then so the last line that Groot has in the movie,
Is I love you guys.
I love you guys. And I'm curious how many people are going to, like, miss the idea that, so if you spend enough time with Groot, you begin to understand him. And so they're saying that the audience has now spent enough time with Groot that you can
understand Groot.
to understand Groot.
Yeah, that's kind of what I figured, what I assumed.
Right. I'm just curious if people out there are like, oh, Groot can talk now, or, you know,
Right.
not really grasping that. Because it's this running gag throughout the movie also. I think they set it up well enough to people who maybe aren't that bright, but throughout the movie, because Gamora doesn't understand Groot.
Right.
Because it's like a past Gamora, right?
Yep.
And so every time he says I'm Groot, and she's like, someone else is like, oh, he says this.
Yeah.
And she's like, you're just making this up,
Yeah.
right? And then at the end, he says, "I am Groot" to her, and she says, and she understands what he says.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, like it shows over time you understand what Groot is. So Groot says, and so when he says, "I love you guys," that's so the audience knows. Oh, I can understand Groot now.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's where they are, and there's like no. I was like fully expecting some setup with like Black Knight or like some like maybe the Silver Surfer goes flying by or something.
I mean, as of right now, maybe they just don't have those plans ready to set anything up.
Yeah.
Maybe they're still like working on stuff and they don't have anything that they could have set up. Who knows?
But anyway, got anything else to say on that?
No, I gotta say, Cosmo is a good dog. There's a part in the movie where Kraglin calls Cosmo a bad dog, and she's just obsessing over it. And she's like, "No, take it back. Cosmo is not the bad dog. Take it back. Don't call me bad dog." And then like it'll go away. It'll cut back, and she'll like still be obsessing. There's a part with her like she's sitting around playing cards with a bunch of characters, and she's like, "In 1968, Soviet Union launched me into space and forgot about me, but they never called me a bad dog."
Yeah. And everyone at the table was just like, "Oh God,
Well, you
Kraglin, just say she's a good dog already."
It's like, would you just drop it? He's like, "I'm not gonna say it because she's a bad dog." No.
Yeah. And you were telling me that James Gunn's old buddy is in that scene, right?
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, the guy who from Troma. I forget his name. But yeah, he's one of the guys in that scene. You got a bunch of his friends. Nathan Fillion's in this. And like you actually see his face this time instead of him just being like a blue CG alien like he was in the first movie. See, this is listing it in appearance order, so I don't know where he'd wind up being.
I can never remember that dude's name.
Yeah.
Anyway, so what's our next movie though, Nolan?
Let's find out. Got a movie this weekend. It's gonna be a busy weekend for us.
I don't think there's one this weekend.
Let's see. 15th is. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. Nothing we care about. I mean, there's stuff, but nothing we care about. Okay. Take a little break there. That's good. We got all kinds of stuff going on this weekend.
Yep.
And then Fast 10.
Yeah, buddy.
I just like, yeah, all right. It might be fun, but it's just like I've never been excited by any of the Fast and Furious movies.
In some way, it's almost too bad that there's not like anything's coming out this weekend, because taking mom to the movie theater is always an easy Mother's Day event.
Yeah, she likes going to the movies if it's something she wants to see.
Like Guardians.
Yeah, I mean, she was excited for Guardians.
I'm excited for Oppenheimer.
Let's see. Whew. Excuse me, getting a little into a dry area, it looks like. Then Spider-Man in June. Transformers. Which I'm not super excited about either.
That movie looks bad.
Are we gonna see Elemental? I saw that trailer and I didn't care.
Yeah, I have zero interest in it. Even our mom, who's like a big Disney and Pixar fan, is like, on that one.
Yeah, I just don't care. I'm more interested in the Stan Lee documentary here. It's opening the same day. The Flash and Asteroid City in the same weekend.
Well, we're not going to the theater to see The Flash.
All right. Because we don't approve of...
Yeah, I don't approve of Ezra Miller making any money off of
Like,
that
he's
movie.
not even, like, in, like, the quick... It's not even, like, listed there. Ezra Miller.
I wonder how Warner Brothers made that happen.
I don't know. Like, how far down on the credits list must he be? He's 5th. So they managed to get Supergirl
Michael Shannon is higher billed than Ezra Miller.
as General Zod, and he cannot be like a bigger part of the movie than Ezra Miller, right?
Right. Michael Keaton got higher billing.
Michael Keaton, Ben Affleck, and Supergirl, and General Zod. Like, they all have higher billing than Ezra Miller, and I think just so his name doesn't appear in the summary here, because they only have 4
on IMDb.
On IMDb, they only have 4 actors in the first summary section.
Mm-hmm.
Like, could you imagine?
Could you imagine, like, one of your actors turns out to, like, start a cult, and you still leave him in your movies?
Yeah. And it's too bad, because I'm, like, watching the trailers, I'm like, this movie actually looks pretty good.
Yeah. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, which we'll be seeing, but I'm going in with expectations low and hopes high.
Yeah, same. And this Ruby Gillman change. Have you seen the trailer for that?
Nope,
it looks
still
so.
haven't.
It looks so bad.
Terrible, so.
It looks terrible. Some Forbidden Kingdom movie. Anyway, going down the list here into the summer. Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1.
It's too much name.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's gonna be like the last of them, right? Once we get Dead Reckoning Part 2, yeah. I'm guessing that's kind of where they plan to end it.
Yep. And then Oppenheimer
and Barbie, like, competing right there.
I saw a TikTok
Coyote React Me
making a joke about that. That was like me going to see Oppenheimer and Barbie in the same weekend or something. He's like walking, he's like looking at his things like nuclear proliferation is awful. Like, what have we done? You know, and all this, and then he like looks up and goes, "Now time for Barbie!" Woo!
Still need to find out how I see Coyote v. Acme. Haunted Mansion. Yeah, so we got a lot of stuff coming out.
Dune 2 is somewhere in there.
Yeah, not till November.
Oh yeah, it's like the week before your birthday.
Yeah, did you watch the trailer for that?
I did.
Looks pretty awesome.
It does. May your knife chip and shatter. Is that how it goes?
Yes. I'm not too sure about this Gran Turismo movie. It seems like a dumb concept.
Yeah.
Supposedly based off a true... They keep telling you throughout the trailer, based on a true story. I'm curious...
They held this contest. I remember the contest.
But how much of the movie is true?
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you know? Did that kid actually, like, become a Formula 1 driver or whatever?
Yeah, it wasn't Formula 1.
Not Formula 1 or whatever, rally cars or something?
It's whatever the European equivalent of NASCAR is.
Oh.
I think like they're still racing on like serious racetracks like Le Mans and what's the one in Germany?
I don't know.
I can't remember.
I don't know.
Nürburgring.
Yeah, this last voyage of the Demeter looks more interesting to me.
It does. That looks like a really interesting movie. I just wish they hadn't shown Dracula in the...
Yeah, I think they showed way too much. And I'm afraid they're going to show way too much in the movie. It should have just been like, you never see...
It should have been Alien on a sailing ship.
Right.
It should have been...
And you just never see it until the end.
It should have been Alien taking place in the age of wooden ships and iron men. Like...
Yeah. Anyway. So, yeah, we got all kinds of stuff coming up.
Yeah. You think this writer strike is going to cause like major delays, or is it mostly for like TV that they're striking?
I think it's mostly for TV that they're striking. I
know they're specifically targeting Netflix.
Of course, like, people who write movies aren't getting residuals on their streaming stuff either, are they?
Probably not.
So maybe it is more, I don't know.
I saw something that their focus was on Netflix, ABC, I think, and some other Amazon maybe. But yeah. Anyway. So yeah, if any of that sounds of interest to you, come back and check those out, because those movie reviews are all upcoming. And go check out our other reviews. We've done a lot. What was our last review, Nolan?
Sisu.
Oh man, you were on it.
Yeah, I remember this time.
Did you look it up ahead of time?
I did not.
Oh, wow. You just remembered, huh?
I remembered. It was Sisu.
Okay. That landmine landing on top of that dude's head is still fresh in your mind.
Still fresh in my memory. I think I will treasure that memory for the rest of my life.
Yeah. So yeah, come back, check those out. Check out other reviews, past reviews, and until next time, thanks for listening.
Bye.
Toodles.